Hello friends, welcome to Jikudari's YouTube channel. Today we are not going to talk about cricket but another sport which India has been dominating, especially in recent times, chess. The year 2024 has been really good for Indian chess with Tamil Nadu's D Gukesh winning the candidates match and qualifying to face China's reigning world champion Ding Liren. This is also the year where India created a historic double gold in the Olympiad, the men's and women's team winning gold in the chess Olympiad in Budapest. The Sports Journalists Association of Mumbai conducted a panel discussion with two former champion chess players now who are into coaching and giving their expert opinions, Grandmasters from India, Pravin Thipsay and Abhijit Kunte. Well, Kunte says that Gukesh has the advantage and the match will be decided by the 12th round. Thipsay says that the match will not even go to 12 rounds. Both of them say on current form that Gukesh is the favorite to win this title and give India a world champion. Without wasting much time, let us listen to what Thipsay and Abhijit Kunte have to say. They give more insights into the mind of Gukesh and Ding Liren, their current form, and what this World Championship is all about. Moderating this discussion is chess correspondent from Mumbai, Amit Kamath.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out from your busy schedules to be here and listen to a conversation about chess. It's been a hardly believable year for Indian chess, starting with the candidates where you had three men in the open candidates. Then and you had Gukesh winning the candidates at the age of 17, which has never been done before. You had two women in the women's candidates, also a rare occasion for Indian chess. We went from there. We had Divya Deshmukh winning the World Junior Championship. You had Arjun Ergaisi doing, strange things. He's been 2800. He's become right now he's the world number 2. And the year could get even better if a certain Gukesh at the age of 18 has his say in a month's time. To talk about that, we have Grandmaster Pravin Thipsay, who is the country's 3rd Grandmaster, and we have Mr. Abhijit Kunte, who is the country's 4th Grandmaster. Welcome both of you. Thank you so much for accepting the
Thank you. Okay, we have one more Amit, who is a very specialist reporter in chess. Amit Kasper. Good to have you. Thank you.
Thanks. Seeing whatever has happened in Indian chess, I think Gary Kasparov said it best. He said that we are seeing an Indian earthquake in chess. To talk about that, to talk about what could be the latest tremor to hit the world of chess, Gukesh playing Ding Liren. Just wanted to start with you, sir. At 18, he's the youngest player to play in the World Championship. Nobody has done it before. Kasparov, Carlsen, nobody. What is it about him that kind of stands out and allowed him to get there at the age of 18?
Well, I think we have to see the maturity of as a player in person, which is very significant. I noticed him for the first time 3 years back in the World Rapid and Blitz Championship as a coach of the Indian team. And although he wasn't among the best players in India at that time in the Blitz and Rapid, he was the one who was the only player who could finish in top 10 in the World Championship. Abdul Sattarov came first, Gukesh was 9th, he was hardly 15 years or 16 years at that time. And Arjun finished 18th, and the rest were built beyond 25, which was the expected seeding. So somewhere I noticed that the boy who doesn't speak much, doesn't show any expressions on the face, and yet plays the best of the moves, even it's in rapid and finished 9th when he was probably seeded beyond 100. So there I noticed, and then I started watching him, and then 2022 National Championship was also something very important. Arjun came first and Gukesh came second, and Gukesh lost only one game to Arjun. I started following them, and I realized that there are players who, I mean, Gukesh is a player who doesn't make any mistakes at all. And sometimes the accuracy level is so great that he doesn't make a mistake unless he's for fatigue or something. And I have the privilege of watching him, really standing next to him during the Olympiad. I was the head of the delegations. I was looking at this team and this team and going around and watching the games. And I found many times he got into positions where he was very confident. His opponents were also confident. I felt a little scary about his position. I would come out, take my mobile and check the engine analysis. Engine would say yours in equal position or better position. So that sort of maturity judgment, he knew exactly what he was doing. And that ability at that age 16, I think is just unbelievable. So that is where I think his maturity age could be just like any chairman of a company or a different. I mean, he was so mature at that time. So it's not necessarily the age plays a role, because he's a very mature person and a very intelligent person. So absolutely, thoroughly ready for next events.
I think one of the jokes during the candidates when Gukesh had won was that this boy never laughs, like never smiles, forget laughing. Sir, from your perspective, you were recently at the Olympiad as the coach of as the captain and the coach of the women's team. What have you seen about Gukesh that makes him stand out from the others from his generation, sir? You had Nadir, you had Arjun, Prav, all of them.
I think Gukesh became Grandmaster with 12 years, 6 months, and he was the second youngest Grandmaster after career came. So he has, and to achieve that feat, I think many of you may not know, but he played about 280 games within a span of 1.5 years, which is, I think, a huge thing to play so many games continuously. And his rating just jumped up and up. Second point, what I noticed is he's very calm, cool, as Pravin said, he's very matured for his age. But like I was the captain of the Palan Alaskan Knights, where Abdul Sattarov plays with my team. And the striking difference, what I find between Gukesh and other players is, like there are few players who work on their chess and then do other things. But whatever Gukesh does is actually if it is going to help him in chess. So like if he is resting, it is also because he needs a rest to improve his chess. If he is reading because it will help him to improve his chess. So whatever it does, it finally focuses on how he is improving his chess. I think this kind of mindset, this kind of preparation, and of course his parents and coaches, they have made sure that he gets that surrounding, he gets that atmosphere all the time, and like he's perfect within his limits, like he knows what he's doing and he doesn't allow anyone else to come near that. So I think that kind of isolation, that kind of commitment towards the game of chess is very rare. And I think that is what has made him what he is today. Like last 22 the Olympiad, he scored 8/8 and then lost to Abdul Sattarov. But that tournament he played very well. India got bronze, and when this Olympiad came, he told that he had that guilt that he lost to Abdul Sattarov and India lost the gold medal. So he wanted to make sure that India wins the gold medal this time, and so he played for the India and he made sure that India wins the gold. I think last time he scored 9 out of 11. This time he scored 9 points out of 10 games and won the gold medal on the first put. So that kind of achievement is unheard of, I feel. And I think when Kasparov used to play, we have seen that Kasparov single-handedly used to make sure that the Russian team wins by scoring really heavy scoring. But I think this was much more higher by Gukesh, and he made sure that India reaches the top. So he has this leadership qualities which is very rare at this young age, and playing on board one with so much maturity in 2 consecutive Olympiads and making the mark felt towards the whole world makes him the great player. So we are very hopeful that, and one of the most important game was of course India versus China, when Ding opted out to play that game after a rest day, which was a big surprise for everyone because everyone was looking forward for that match. But yes, Gukesh played and he scored a very crucial win in that match.
Great. So mindset of Gukesh, we know, as you mentioned and Sir also mentioned, that he's somebody who's very mature for his age. He's 18, but maybe he's like a 25, 30-year-old player. But his upbringing also there was a very remarkable difference in terms of how other players of his generation are brought up. His trainer decided not to use engines, and engines are something that every young player now uses it very extensively before they become an IM. So maybe how did that kind of shape him up?
I think it's very relevant, but it doesn't shape everybody. For example, Vishnu doesn't use engines. And when Vishnu practices, he practices Kidambi. Kidambi also doesn't use engine. But they have not been able to reach that level. So I think not using engine by itself is not a criteria. But not using engine and still being able to find out why the move was played or why a move was not played. I think that's a part of exercise which is very important. Okay, Kasparov or Carlsen could have played this move, taking a knight or whatever, taking a pawn. They didn't do it. Why didn't they do it? Now to find it out at a young age, without an engine, it would require it. First of all, it would develop patience, because there's always a temptation. If you're not able to solve a puzzle in 5 minutes, you put on the engine and see. So it developed patience. It developed ability to improve the game. It also developed the curiosity. Because as Einstein says, curiosity has every reason for existence. So he must have been very curious about that, and he would find out that himself. And that's the quality that was developed, that you won't get an engine assistance, but you have to find out why this move wasn't played or was played, and whatever it is. And since this was done at a very young age, I think there's a discipline in that, because if somebody asked me not to use engine, then I'd probably say no, it's not possible. But he didn't do that with the trainer. So of course trainers' touch is very important. And his ability, of course. By not using engine, you don't automatically become strong. But trainer and him, trainer has seen the potential. He has realized that the child can find out the correct moves if not told him what is correct. What does the engine do? Engine doesn't tell you why a move is good or not. Engine just tells you it's a good move. So it doesn't really teach you anything. And if you find it out, that is great. I think that is a very important thing. Not using engine can be a very great assistance if you are going for the top. But again, out of 10,000, it may work only for 1.
And clearly Gukesh was that one. To talk about the other guy in the equation, Ding Liren, I don't think there have been many world championships where the reigning champion is going there as a massive underdog, as most of these grandmasters have said. Ding himself says it. I don't know how much to believe him, how much to believe the rest of the grandmasters, like Magnus, who said that Gukesh has a significant advantage. Can you just talk about Ding and what makes him so formidable? I know right now form is a little dicey, maybe he's not feeling it. But we've also seen him in 2018, 2017 where he went 100 games unbeaten. So maybe just Ding at his peak.
So, of course, Ding is a very strong player. So we have like Ding 1, era 1 and Ding era 2. So right now he's in Ding 2, which is not very strong. But if you see Ding 1, it was very difficult to beat him. He became a national champion. Like Chinese national championship is one of the strongest national championship. I think now only US can compete with them. And he won that championship thrice. When he was 16-year-old, he won the first time. Then when he 2018, I think he reached the finals of the World Cup. 19 again he reached the finals of the World Cup, and he was the first Chinese player to cross 2800, and he reached the world number 2 spot behind Magnus Carlsen in the classical rating and he was number 1 in the blitz and rapid rating ahead of Magnus. So, but it was all before COVID, and I think he was doing extremely well. And what I can say is, then he played this match. Candidates were qualified for the match with Nepomniachtchi, where Magnus refused to play, and that match in Kazakhstan. If you see that match, like he had the ability to come back. He lost the, I think, second game, then he lost the fourth game, then he lost the sixth game. But every time he kept losing, he was coming back. He won the third game, won the fifth game, he won the 10th game, and took the match to the tiebreak. And in tiebreak, in the fourth game, he won the World Championship. So that was I think his peak, where he played extremely well. He was very difficult to beat, but he had this. I feel that he had this feeling that maybe he is not the best player in the world and he doesn't deserve the World Championship, which has affected him psychologically a lot. I think he has said that he has faced a lot of depression and he is under a lot of heavy medication, and that has resulted a lot about his performance in the recent times, where he played. I think last year he came back after a long gap and he played 3 tournaments. I think in one tournament he finished last, one tournament second last. But he was not able to make any mark in the chess field. In Olympiad, he's just scored -1. And now he's, I think, out of top 20, 24th or 23rd in the world ranking. So yes, right now if you compare Gukesh and you compare Ding, yes, whatever the difference is clearly visible. Like when Ding was in best form, he won the gold medal for China in Olympiad on the top board and made sure China wins the Olympic gold. Same thing Gukesh has done this year. So I will say that Gukesh is in the same form which Ding was way back, and definitely he is a clear favorite right now. But yes, we cannot underestimate him because he had the ability to play at that level. And I think it is just because of medical issues, this is the situation. If he can overcome that, it's not easy to beat him.
He did have a loss, I think after 38 classical games, he lost a match in a league that he was playing in Europe. How much should we read into that? Is it something that, it's one of those...
He was unbeaten for 95 games. He broke Tal's record and he was unbeaten for 95 games in 2018, and Carlsen broke that record in 2019. No, not 36, it's 95
No,
games.
I mean,
Gukesh
just
no,
had...
Yeah, Gukesh had little, but Ding Liren had 95 games. That was a record. It's a great achievement by itself.
So, just wanted to talk about Gukesh just having a loss leading up to the World Cup. How much should we read into that?
See, when you are playing, there are definitely you are going to lose some games and you are going to win many. So this is definitely going to happen. So one loss here and there doesn't matter. What matters is how you handle the pressure situations. Because this game is going to be very high pressure match, and if you are able to handle that pressure, I think you will succeed. And the way Gukesh is playing, like even if you see Olympiad or if you see the candidates, where in the final match he had to win. And Caruana was also winning, but he could not convert that position against Nepomniachtchi, which was like clearly winning whole game. So it happens to the players that they are very good players, but at that important moment, because of the pressure, they cannot convert that advantage or cannot hold that equal positions. So it is very important what you do at that moment where the pressure is very high and you need to play with 100% accuracy. And I think Gukesh has done extremely well in such situations recently, and Ding is not doing so good. He was very good before, but after this World Championship, there is a clear difference. Like I said, there is a Ding 1 and Ding 2. So we hope that Gukesh will clearly be the favorite for the match.
So the effects of psychology, as Gujesh mentioned, that there was Ding 1, Ding 2. Right now, he's maybe not at psychologically at his best. But the World Championship is a different beast. You might have played the Olympiad, you might have played all these other events where you face the same guy. Maybe Gukesh has faced Ding multiple times before. But coming into a World Championship, that assumes a different aura altogether, right?
Yes, I think World Championship is the most important tournament generally for a player. Very often player plays only 1 or 2 World Championships. And there it's of course psychological, rather the character of a person, the strength of the character of a person that matters a lot. As we can see from the examples of the World Champions, they've all been very great, strong characters. Sometimes the opponents were as strong as players, but here the strength of the character played a very important role. And we look at 2 people here. One is a young boy of 18, somebody who's matured at the age of 32. We would presume it to be matured. But if you look at the personality, the character, strength of the person, I would say that Ding is like a child and Gukesh is like a grown-up person, because after the 4th game we saw Ding started crying in the World Championship match. He played his worst game probably, but he came out with the reaction that it was the worst game in his lifetime, and he actually cried on the board and during the World Championship. So he eventually won the World Championship. And whereas Gukesh, there's so much of strength of the character. Okay, if I do it badly now, I do it better tomorrow. Very much like Karpov had. And even if you look at the styles of the player, Gukesh's style resembles very much of Karpov. Not of much of opening preparation. They want to leave everything to open and imagination. They don't want to win by virtue of opening preparation. They don't want to win the game by theoretical novelties. They just say, okay, I get an equal position and I beat my opponent. And okay, there are various options open, no clear-cut path. We do not allow our opponent to simplify. The same quality which Carlsen had. And Ding, even at his best, when he was really doing well, apart from the psychological aspect, but as a player also, he was not able to dictate the game all the time. Well, Gukesh normally dictates the game. That's for the strength part. And with the psychological part, Gukesh is never worried about the position. Even if he makes a mistake, he's always able to come back. And that is important. Whereas Ding, during the game, you can see he's depressed. During the match, you can see he's depressed. And after winning the World Championship, he never played because I don't know the reasons. And when he started playing, he played at a very poor level. It shows that somewhere there's a problem with the strength of character. I wouldn't say psychological reason. The character itself is not very strong. And that does not work in a one-to-one match. It may work in a simultaneous exhibition, it may work in a tournament, it may work in a Blitz championship, because he had been Blitz number 1 ahead of Carlsen, and that was 2880 or 2885. So that can work where your reflexes work, but if you are really thinking of a plan and executing it, I think you need also a strong character, because plans go wrong and then you have to do something else. For example, you're walking and you find you're on the wrong track, you have to come back and go, and that ability decides the character. And that character, I think, is a lot of difference. Ding doesn't have that character of recovering, whereas Gukesh has that character quality of recovering from any stage. So again, it depends on individual and not necessarily just strength or the rating expresses it.
So with Gukesh, we've seen this.
I will just differ here because Gukesh, Ding always came back in the match, in the World Championship with Nepo, because I think any World Championship match, if you see any great World Champions, they have won it first time. Whenever they played the match, they have won the World Championship match. Any great player, if you see. So we are hopeful that the experience in the World Championship match doesn't count that much, because I think that inexperience counts a lot, because you are all out to win the match. And if you see Kasparov, if you see Carlsen, if you see Ding, they have all won it in the first time when they played. Even Fischer.
Last World Championship was a much criticized match, because in one game the players played like great masters of the board, and the next game they played like club level players. Some of the games it was criticized that how could they play so badly. So that ups and downs in that match was really bad, and it's basically you have to the opponent's contribution in the comebacks was very high. But anyway, there was a comeback in the match.
Right. Just because we are talking about the quality of the World Championship, I think Kasparov recently said that he does not consider the World Championship as a true World Championship because Magnus is sitting out. Do you agree? Do you maybe disagree?
It's not a question of my agreeing or disagreeing. It's a public opinion. Public opinion still thinks Magnus is the best player. And the way when Fischer quit in 1975, for a year or two, nobody considered Karpo to be the best player in the world till Karpo really started winning every tournament. So sometimes you have to prove it after winning that. And what Ding did was exactly opposite. When there's a question about his being the best, not better than Carlsen, but even better than Nepomniachtchi, because the match ended in an equal score and he won on a tie break. So at that time, it was required of him. It was his duty to prove to the world that he was a stronger player by playing in open tournaments, winning them left and right like Karpov. And since he failed to do that, by 1976, Karpov had earned the respect of the best player in the world, whereas Ding never was able to do that because he refrained from playing. And when he started playing after a year's break, he started playing very badly. And as a result, he was never looked at a world championship. Sometimes I feel sorry for him because he never got the respect of the world champion. For example, if he walks in and Magnus walks in the tournament hall, 90% of the journalists would run to Magnus to ask some questions. He doesn't have the status of the world champion. So what Kasparov says is significant. My opinion doesn't matter, or FIDE's opinion doesn't matter. The public doesn't consider Ding or Nepomniachtchi to be that class. Frankly speaking, even if Nepo had won, he wouldn't have enjoyed that the status which Karpo, Kasparov, Fischer, Anand had. They wouldn't have. So it's not going to be looked at a world championship match, although it's an official part. But yes, nobody is already considering him as a world champion. But perhaps, yes, Gukesh will have that respect because Gukesh is already much more respected by the chess fraternity than Ding Liren.
Why is that? Why has Gukesh earned the respect? What has he kind of done?
Well, I think we'll come to the top players, elite players, and to the Grandmasters who generally do not form their opinion about a player from the rating or from the result. But we actually analyze the games. We analyze the game without engine, and we find something fundamentally missing in a player. Then we are not very convinced about a player's strength, because if you have a lot of strength and you have a lot of weaknesses, it's definitely great ability. But when we are talking of the best player in the world, we expect that someone doesn't have any weaknesses. We are wrong sometimes because somebody has a lot of problems, a lot of weaknesses, and yet is at the world champion. But because of that, it's not easy to find that sort of respect. When a player makes silly mistakes, and opponent also makes silly mistakes. So you will always find that the chess fraternity is respecting a player who plays more flawless games. And Gukesh really plays flawless games, and he keeps on avoiding simplification. The position is equal, but he doesn't allow the opponent to make a draw. So that has been taken as a very great quality, and that's the reason why players really respect Gukesh than Ding at the moment.
Sir, is it accurate to say that at the moment Gukesh is one of those rare players who does exceptionally well in classical, but maybe not so much in the faster formats of the game?
Yes, I think there is a big gap between this classical game and the rapid game. So I think that is where Ding will go to in the match.
Take it in the tiebreak.
Yes, take it in the tiebreak.
Sir, the history of the World Championships has been a colorful one. You had everything from the color of yogurt to, I don't know, dead flies in, chairs being a factor at some point or the other. Do you see this as the most subdued World Championship coming up because the two players are not somebody who get rattled by all of these other things, factors away from the world, from the board?
It's not a question of being rattled. Here we have players who are not really trying to put their weight. Sometimes players are very professional, and Bobby Fischer put a lot of conditions because he wanted to improve the condition of chess. He increased the prize money, which was for the World Championship was more than 10 times of the Wimbledon. So much more than that. So to ask for making ridiculous demands can really raise your game. And Fischer's agenda was not only to become world champion, he wanted to raise the status of the game. So Fischer and, for example, Botvinnik, Kasparov's coach and also 5 times world champion, they saw to it that every child in Russia played chess and it was taken to the highest levels of the ministry and everybody was interested. So that in the promotional activities, you really sometimes show things which would make, it would make the entire world look at you and observe you and watch you. So since these players are not inclined in any, you must have seen, they are not publicity savvy. Both of them like to avoid publicity. As a result, this match is not going to be, they will be very curt in their replies also. I'm sure when the question and answer sessions comes after the game, they will reply very briefly and not making it colorful. So the match will not be colorful because none of the characters are colorful.
Great. Just a couple of last things before I throw it open to a room full of journalists. So I wanted to know your predictions for the match. I thought it was a proper slam dunk. Everybody's been saying that Gukesh will easily win. And
Yeah, but you want the round number, yes?
Sure.
Or you just want a prediction?
No, you give us a
I think Gukesh should win by round 12. That's what I think.
Sir, Gukesh wins before round 12, after round 12?
Well, my interview to you itself, Express and Times, both have given that we will not see a 12th game in this match. We will not see a 12th game. I have made it clear. Of course, there are a few things that come into picture. After first 2 games, we will probably be able to know. Because I don't believe that form and those things are there, but somewhere I see also difference in the quality. But important factor is that most important factor here is to get acclimatized to the atmosphere and the food. So I'm happy that the FIDE is, the arrival day is 20th, the first game is on 25th, which suits Gukesh better than Ding probably. And from that angle, I'm not expecting to see 12th game. But okay, there are some things. Uncertainty is a part of sports, any sport. And if the better player was always to win, we would see only 100% results. So uncertainty remains a part. So probably I'll be able to give a more.
Over the years, the World Championship, we have seen many, kind of surprising moves and, tactics. Like for example, Kramnik's Berlin against Kasparov or Anand's King Pawn opening against Kramnik in Bonn. Do you expect any such thing in this match? And any, interesting thing that you feel that?
Well, I don't personally see a lot of novelties being played because Gukesh's game is not predictable. He's not going to play first 16, 17 theoretical moves. He just varies at a particular stage where he feels like. And he doesn't go for the best move. If you look at his game in candidates, again, Pragnananda was blitzing out the moves. Pragnananda had hardly taken 1 minute and Gukesh had taken 35, 40 minutes. And that's why 1 pawn sacrificed. Pragnananda sacrificed the second pawn. Objectively capturing the second pawn would have given Gukesh a better position. But Gukesh quickly made a decision of playing the move f5 for e6 and keeping the game close. An immediate reaction, Vishwanathan Anand was commenting, he said, yes, he doesn't know the position, so keeping the position close is the best solution in an unknown position. And other things, the very next move by Pragnananda was a mistake and Black got a better position. So Ding is a complete player, so Gukesh is a complete player who tries to find a solution over the board. So we are not going to see any book novelties or any great preparation. It's going to be a over the board battle. Very often we'll see new moves being played without players knowing why they are played. I mean, not objectively with a complete computer analysis, but an entirely original match. This match will be more original than perhaps any other match.
So, you want to play?
I expect something in Lopez, hopefully. And as Pravin said, yes, both the players, if you see both the players' styles, they all are original players. So we may not expect a lot of theoretical battles, but I expect something in Lopez because Ding has been consistent with e4, e5, and Gukesh will try to get in there. That's what I think.
On a scale of 10, both the Grandmasters can answer. How do you rate Gukesh's chances on a scale of 10?
With 1 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest.
10 is the highest.
Well, I don't think we can number about 10s. But okay, 9.5 is my pick. I mean, about winning the match.
Yeah, winning.
9.5 at least, yeah,
But if
out
you-
of 10.
If you could answer about 10, if you were allowed to answer about 10.
Yes, I would say 100. I mean, at the moment, I'm only expecting one result at the moment.
Yeah, he is expected to win.
Yeah, just wanted to know your views on Kasparov's recent statement. Looked a bit uncharitable, but you would be able to answer that. Like, you know, he doesn't consider this as a World Championship match.
I think Pravin answered it, but I think it's pretty simple that, you know, like top 4 players in the world are not part of this World Championship match. So that's what he means to say, that the top best players are not part of this World Championship. Hence, he doesn't think this as a World Championship match. Because previous matches, if you see, every time the world number 1 or 2 was a part of the World Championship match. So because Carlton is not playing, this gap is big. So that's what he means. But it doesn't matter because it's a World Championship match and the champion will get the title of World Champion.
Would you compare it to something like Anand Gelfand in that sense also? Because there's a huge gap between this rankings of the two players.
Anand Gelfand was not such a one-sided match. Frankly, because they knew each other. I mean, they played the first game probably in 19 in the World Junior or somewhere in the 80s. Yeah, so they knew each other. They had played a lot of games, and they knew each other's theory, each other's way of play. Here, I don't think these two players have played with each other. So it's not. But the Anand Gelfand wasn't. I mean, rating-wise, it was a lot of difference. But I think the strength-wise, it wasn't such a great difference. Means both the players, if you test the knowledge of the players about chess, then the knowledge was same. Only the calculating ability of Anand was better and the sense of initiative. But there's nothing that Anand knew and Gelfand didn't know. So the difference in the class was not there. So rating difference could be there, but difference of class was not there. So that match is not taken that way. But okay, when Kramnik beat Kasparov, there was Khalifman and Ponomarev winning the FIDE World Championship. They never got the status of World Champion because it was a different format and Kasparov had lost to Kramnik and they had opted out of the FIDE cycle. When Anand won the FIDE cycle, he got the due respect. But when Ponomarev and Khalifman got, they didn't get respect. The chess world or the non-chess world also is going to see where you actually stand. If you're a world champion, you go in an open tournament and you finish third, you're not going to get that respect. You're not going to be recognized as the best player in the world, although you're the champion. So again, very few players have had the respect of, in the eyes of public, of being the world champion, also being acknowledged by the chess world as the best player. Fischer, Karpov, Kasparov, Botvinnik, some of them, Spassky for some time. So that, this championship, Gukesh may end up getting that respect, but it's a matter of completely different stature, and as a result, it's going to be a different match, but it will not enjoy the championship will not enjoy the status of a real championship. Nobody will, if the tournament Carlsen is playing side by side, people would be looking for an opportunity to watch Carlsen's game first and then look the World Championship game second, if there's an option.
Abhijit,
Actually, if you look at their personal records, Gukesh and Ding Liren have played each other 5 times. Ding Liren has won twice. Gukesh has never won. 2 wins, 3 draws. So, and the last win came as recently as January 2024, when Gukesh was not only beaten, I would say he was almost crushed. So how do you explain that?
It was not classical game.
Yeah, there is Aniruddha Sanchgiri, former national player. He is playing for Maharashtra. Yes, as we see, classical is a different event, and Gukesh has trained not to play the rapid and breaks. I don't know how it works, but he is completely different and off form in rapid. Blitz, I have not seen him play so well, but yes, in rapid sometimes nowadays he is not able to play well. There was a time when I said he finished 9th in the world in 2021, but after that he has concentrated on classical games, and in classical chess there is no comparison. So that person's score doesn't matter in case of a boy who is only 18, and for example, if you lose to someone at the age of 14 or 15, it may not be very relevant when it comes to World Championship. We go to Fischer-Spassky. Fischer had lost 2 games and drawn 1 against Spassky, but the World Championship was completely different.
Abhijit, you spoke about Gukesh doing everything around whatever he does off the board, connecting to chess. There is something like switching off and switching on. Does it work in chess, especially with Gukesh? And secondly, with in the context of what Kasparov said in the context to the World Championship and its status, should the championship itself be looked into or re-looked into or whatever, so that we get all the top players, ensure that the top players, so there is a play, so that there is a good contest?
Well, I think the first point, it is switching on and off, maybe is also happening, but when it's switching off, it's also because of chess. That's what I mean to say. Like when I'm drinking the water, it's not because I'm thirsty, because it is going to help me improve my game. If that is my attitude, it is going to be completely different person, whatever I'm doing. And I think that kind of attitude this player has. I think that makes him separate, because qualifying for the World Championship match at the age of 18 and winning this candidate, which was a very closely contested event, and he played for it for the first time. I think it makes him very special. Regarding this match, yes, of course, like there can be many doubts whether it is the best players are playing or not, but the cycle for the World Championship is very fair. It's very tough. It's not easy to be there. You have to be in top 8 through different qualifying cycles, and then they say you're playing the tournament, and then you have to win that tournament double round robin to become the challenger. And when you come out of all that grind and then play for the match, I think it's quite fair that you are one of the topmost players of that particular 2 years who is challenging for the World Championship. So if Magnus is opting out to play, I don't see FIDE or anyone has any choice other than to continue with this World Championship cycle.
Pravin,
I think there is some luck factor as well, because when Ding qualified, when Ding became world champion, he was not qualified to play the candidate himself, and he was a sort of last minute entry in the candidates, and he finished second without any hope of really playing the world championship, because everybody thought Nepo was playing against Carlsen. So basically he was a chance qualified to the candidate, and he got into that, and he got a chance to play in the World Championship in the most unexpected way, and he did that very great. The championship was played very great. Similarly for Gukesh was the last player to qualify to the candidates tournament, and he wasn't there till the Chennai Super GM tournament decided that. So he got a last minute entry in the candidates. He ended up finishing at the top. Sometimes it happens that you are not expected to get this. You get an opportunity, you get a chance to play in something, and you did best, because that is something which has come as a luck factor for you. So for even that angle, if you look at it, Ding played very well in the championship because he was a chance qualifier, and similarly Gukesh initially was a chance qualifier to the candidates, and that's why he will be more motivated, because he wants to make the best of the opportunity.
Abhijit, you've been in the thick of it right from Budapest or even before. The world remembers a number 1. We forget a number 2. From an Indian perspective, the end of 2024, chess, how important is it going to be? And to you, Pravin, the question after him would be the word complacency after all that we have spoken from Gukesh's point of view.
Yes, I think this 2024 has been quite good for us. We had this candidates championship, then we have a player crossing 2800 rating. We have Divya becoming world junior champion. Then we have 2 gold medals in the Olympiad, and now this match. Hopefully, we will not be able to finish it in this year, but maybe early next year. And see, it's very rare for any sport to win the World Championship match in men and women together, and that is a very rare feat what chess has achieved. And to make it happen continuously, to to sustain it, number one, and number two, to improve upon it, we'll need more efforts, because right now we were always saying that India is coming up, coming up, coming up. Now India is there, and we need to make sure we stay there for a very long time. Luckily, we have a very lot of young players. If you see, most of the players are between 18 to 25 in men and women, both categories. So definitely, but to have a good pipeline of players coming up at that level is going to be a challenge. But luckily, if you see the Chennai Grandmaster tournament which happened yesterday, Arvind Chidambaram and V Pranav won it. So we have people who are different. Many of you may not have heard of them, but they are there at that level. It's just a chance. If they get the right opportunity, as Pravin said, if you are there, you can make it. But getting there itself is becoming a challenge for Indians, which was the challenge for the USSR players, because the entries were closed for them. So if you see now many international tournaments, you will find that they will say that entries for Indian players are restricted, because then others don't get chance to win it. So we are reaching at that level, which is very good, but it will be very important to sustain it for a long time.
Yeah, I think he asked me a question about the complacency. So yes, complacency can be a factor. In fact, things are, after competitor has started playing well, and the things have been very unpredictable. You must have seen the news of a 3-year-old boy getting rating. And somewhere about 10 years back, I started wondering if what we learned at childhood was correct. Because when we were young, when we started playing, we were told that you would be at your best at the age of 45 and 50. And you would be improving. And that's the reason why we couldn't really do our best when we should have. And when I look at the engine accuracy, my best games were in the late 70s and early 80s, which I never realized. And I thought I would be a much better player by 2010 or something. So this was different, but we go back to the history. Greco was the best player in the world at the age of 10, 400 years back. And Morphy was the best player in the world at the age of 13 to 15. So it's because the children have good memory. Fisher says what you need to be a good player. A very strong memory and a very good imagination. Who has better imagination than a child? Child can think of flying by itself, trying to move the hand. And those are the key factors. So they were not explored because of the slowing down of the game by the strategist, and to some extent the Soviet school, which says that it's a slow game and you become a strongest player at the age of 37, 38. Karpov was the one who challenged that. He said we are best at the age of 27. And now we are coming that we could be best at the age of 20. Now when you are at best at the age of 20 and when you are matured at the age of 15, perhaps the complacency can come earlier. Because if you are so matured, you feel like retiring at the age of 25. It's not impossible. Because it's again the mental makeup. If I have led a life of a grown-up person from the age 10, by the age 25 I am about to retire. So that's a major problem that could happen. At the moment things are not possible to know the things. But till Gukesh wins the World Championship, there is no complacency because there's always a high target. Once he wins the championship, how he performs in 2026, that could be different. In my opinion, I predicted it that 2026 will have 2 Indians in the World Championship. Arjun playing Gukesh. That was my prediction. But let's see if that happens. That the complacency question will come. But yes, I'm worried about the youngsters who are 17, 18 and 20. They could probably complacent by the age of 25. That's a possibility.
Thank you. Maybe that's why Magnus is not playing.
Magnus is already, actually I was with Magnus during this London. He himself said that motivation is a big problem. He is not motivated and he is not able to concentrate for long period of 90 plus 90, 180 minutes. At this age, he is not able to concentrate long. He is very good at the 15 minutes games and 5 minutes games. So somewhere that lack of concentration, somewhere disturbance is there at the age. It's possible.
Olympiad का इतिहास बघितला तर ही फक्त
Is it a must or is it a social?
The people try to push their personal matters.
I got many criminals. Alright. Here what push cases?
The sports manager of the club is going wants to give, they want to, on behalf of the club, they are felicitating Abhijit Kunte and Pravin Thipsay. Pravin Thipsay was here a few days ago before the Global Chess League. We also have a group picture, please. Shailesh, read the group picture also. All three together, all three together. It's okay, there is no particular order. We will start the function very soon, but MIG, they have, the officials have meetings to attend, so they want to finish formal part of it. That's why.
It is really great to be in between two people.
Voice is not perfect. We have the Sport Journalists Association of Mumbai. We have a long association with this club, going back to the days of Sharad Cortes and Pravin Barbe, then so many of us. And these times it is with the entire board of trustees, the managing committee, and we have been interacting with Shrikant Shetty, the general secretary, who is not here to go for a meeting, and also Shailesh Bharadwaj, who is the sports manager. So they are the hosts today, MR GSC Bank. So on behalf of the Sport Journalists Association of Bombay, I request Clayton Barzello, secretary, to felicitate Mr. Shailesh Bharadwaj and the club. And a memento on behalf of this GM to the MIG Club. Thank you so much.